Welcome to Sunday mornings here at Rhema CC. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to spend my Sunday mornings with you guys. And this is I'm entering a bit of a season, I guess you could say, as we're doing our Sunday mornings at the moment. That's a little bit different. We're talking kind of along the lines of creatives at the moment. And what is a creative? What benefit is a creative to us as the church? We're talking all things sort of along those lines. So we're talking, you've got your people who might be into the crafts, the arts, the music, the poetry. There's all sorts of modalities of being a crafty / creative person. If you think of the home you live in, somebody had to design that. If you think of the clothes you are wearing, somebody had to work out how that was going to fit your body. If you think of the way that you eat your food, who put that particular ingredient with that? This is the kind of thing that I would love to, over the next few weeks, give some time to and some attention to, because honestly, the world is better and our lives are better because of those who have had a creative experience or a creative flair or a creative moment or perhaps a lifestyle. This morning, I have got the pleasure of having somebody who is pretty important to me, actually with me, to be interviewed. I'll introduce you. It's Tim. And Tim happens to be my brother-in-law, so I will claim that with pride because I think he's pretty phenomenal guy. Tim Andrews he's kind of got a bit of a quirky sort of creative sense to him. He's he's got one of those brains you just think, how do you come up with that? But I'm going to just introduce you to Tim. He's going to give us a bit of an idea of kind of where he's been, what he does, all that sort of stuff, and kind of how he comes up with the things that he does. And certainly for us as the church, how we can better support those who are working like Tim in that sort of space. So firstly, welcome, Tim, and thank you for coming and joining us this morning.
Thanks for the kind words too.
Oh, see, you don't have to pay me for saying that. That's good, isn't it? So obviously I've asked you this morning to come and spend some time with us.
Yeah.
Your insights are just, I guess that's one of the things where kind of, let's just start with who you are. What do you do?
Well, my name's Tim and I'm an animator. So that is, animation is bringing characters to life in movement, and I've sort of always been interested in that since I was very, very young. I've always been into drawing and cartoons, and that sort of it was very clear to me from a very young age what I wanted to do on a professional level when I get older, and so that's been very easy for me, and God has really put things in front of me. I've been working in animation for basically 20 years now, and I had some very, very good opportunities land in my lap early on, which again is God's work, because for example, I had a guy from my church who was a Disney director, and so I was able to kind of pick his brain, and he ended up giving me one of my first sort of professional level jobs. And so a lot of my work is either working for secular television animation, but there's also there's a lot of contract work, right? So it's very hard to sort of have an actual just full-time job as an animator. You have to kind of jump around and hop from different studios or work remotely for a studio in another state, and a lot of my work is secular work, but I'd probably say 50-50 is Christian things, and sometimes it's my own ideas and work, but often it's for other people. So it's a real mixed bag.
Yeah, okay. The biggest differences, what would you say, in terms of expectations on you based on who you're working for or yourself? What would you say are there any differences you can highlight?
I think that there can be a big difference in secular and Christian work. Unfortunately, often the secular work is handled more professionally and more of a well-oiled machine, and then often I think in the Christian world, the expectations are kind of can sometimes be a little naive, and the reality is that as a creative, you want to focus on the creative stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not a business person. I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you've got that skill set as well. But for me, I want to do the creative thing. I don't want to do the administration. I don't want to do and so that can be tricky for.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's a difference in if you're thinking that specifically, like secular versus Christian? Yeah. Is there an expectation on you that is different in terms of pressure, I guess?
Look, I think when you're working in secular, you need to very quickly get used to the fact that your superiors or whoever are going to give you lots of notes on your work.
Okay.
And that is not done in a mean-spirited way. That's just to get the best work done, which is actually really good, because when I'm working in that world, I can kind of
chip away.
Well, yeah, and just refine those tools, and get better and go, okay, well, this is going on television, and lots of people will see this, and it has to be perfect, and so that's great. When you're doing something sort of more freelancy, or maybe in a Christian sphere, often they're not quite sure what to expect. And so sometimes that's a good thing, right? Like,
absolutely.
When you're doing work for someone and they're just, wow, that's amazing, thank you so much. And you go, is there anything you want me to fix up or change or anything?
And it's sort of like, where's the criticism here?
So, I mean, that's a wonderful thing. But it can also be, I mean, look, I'll share a story with you from, that probably maybe 10, 15 years ago, where somebody was organising a Christian conference, and they said, hey, we heard you're an animator. We really want to have 2 little 5-minute animations for as sort of just a funny sort of icebreaker type thing at the beginning. It was going to be about the guest speakers. And the conference was in, I think, a week's time.
Ooh.
Maybe 2. And I was like, okay, all right, well, and they're like, oh no, it's tight, all of this sort of thing. And we discussed their ideas and how we're going to do it, and you think that is then I've got tools down or whatever else I'm doing.
Yeah, sure.
I'm focusing on this thing for 2 weeks solid.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound like much, right? Like 2 little 5-minute videos. It's like often you get the, if I'm doing an illustration, it only needs to be a sketch. It's another way of someone saying, I don't really have much money, but can you just do something quick?
Yeah.
And so so in that situation, we had this discussion, already that is my time, right? And then I said, okay, well, look, just give me your email and I'll send you through a quote. Silence.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Send that through. And I think they were just trying to get something for free. And I think that's not good, because you don't ask, a plumber to come and do it for free. I mean, the worst thing for a creative is those words, it'll give you good exposure. It might lead to something else. We don't have money now, but if it takes off,
this might happen.
And that's profanity in the words of a creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it happens a lot.
And that's what I think is hard, is for you've got that gifting. Like Tim had mentioned previously, he always has been, you've always been drawn to animation.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a gifting God has given you, and a passion that God has given you, and finding that balance between how do I enjoy and nurture this gift with, that need to, I've got to pay the bills too, I've got to cover my own insurances, or whatever it happens to be for your particular industry. And it's really hard. I'll hold it there for a bit, guys. We'll be back soon. I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys more of Tim's journey, and just what an awesome person he is. We'll be back soon. And welcome back, Coasties. I have Tim with me, my brother-in-law, Tim Andrews. He is an animator. We've just been speaking to him this morning. Now, we started, Tim, talking before. It was a bit of an introduction to who you were, who you are, all that sort of stuff. And we sort of skirted around a few different things. I want to go back to the challenges that creatives might come across. What are some of the things? Obviously, you mentioned, the work consistency can be a bit of an issue, because you don't know what's coming, what's going. Any other sort of challenges that we can be mindful of as we set out to support our creatives in our own churches, our own world, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So some of the challenges, I guess, working in Christian world. So a lot of, I'm always trying to kind of push the ideas a bit, and do something original. And it's so easy to slip into in the Christian, I mean, like we're, finding ways to retell the Bible stories or whatever.
Yep.
And doing that in a way that is engaging and that is relatable to, kids
Everyone.
in Australia in 2025.
Yeah.
It's something I'm kind of big on, and that can be really tricky because there's also sometimes an expectation that Christian stuff has to be a bit vanilla.
Yeah.
And a bit plain.
I can see that.
And taking risks with, even just the style of animation or, the vocal performances of the characters or whatever.
Yeah.
It's you really don't want it to lack that personality because it really, you can lose people's attention very easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
For years, I guess in the Christian world, it's sort of like we're a bit behind.
Yeah.
Let's do a Christian version of A Bug's Life. And that movie's like almost 30 years old. Like, let's be the ones coming up with the new original stories that are unique and not just a rip-off of, a Christian rip-off of something that already exists.
So how do we support you then if that's the sort of thing that you come up, I mean, I'll go into it deeper, but just as a brief sort of an idea, how does the church then support you as a creative to go, okay, this is the dilemma. How do we support that?
Well, I think probably that dilemma probably comes more from whoever's commissioning you to do that work.
Okay.
If they come to you with a script, sometimes, and I've heard people use this term, it's like, is this script better than a blank piece of paper? Because sometimes people come with their ideas. They might not necessarily be the creative, but they go, I've got this script. I want you to make this thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at it and go, we could make something better.
Yeah, okay.
If you're putting the money towards making this thing, maybe you can make this something that really sticks with people.
Absolutely.
So I think, sometimes a blank piece of paper, just sort of go, well, have you got some ideas? Yeah, let's do this. And you'll get something better out of it. So there's that. I think too, I mean, like we're talking about money. That's the problem. Like we just want to be creative. We're not money people.
Yeah, that's right. Just let us do our thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's important to realise that animation is like it's a lot of work, and so when I'm doing secular work, a television show or whatever, often the expectation from an animator per week is 30 seconds of animation.
Wow, okay.
And so when you're sitting there watching that on TV, that flies past. That is somebody's work for a week.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, there's ways to, there's budgets, and you can work with that and make something, make a minute of animation or 2 minutes within a week as well, depending on what's involved. Sure. It's very much a how long is a piece of string kind of question when someone comes to you with, hey, we've got a 5-minute song, we want to make it into a video, and you think, okay, well, 5 minutes, that's 10 weeks of 30 seconds of animation.
Right. And I think that's the thing for us, for us to have the awareness of what's actually involved behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We talk quite often here on a Sunday morning about different occupations, different things that people do, and how we have no idea really what's involved. But maybe that's an element for us as a church to go to those who are creative and say, what's your workload look like? What actually happens behind the scenes, and how do we support the other stuff so that you can, you guys can keep getting your stuff out there?
Yeah.
Certainly a challenge for us.
Well, I think first of all, as creators, we love talking about ourselves.
Right. Okay.
We love talking about what we're doing.
That's perfect.
Because we're locked away in a little room all week doing it, and so when we're out socialising,
it's like let's
ask
bring
me
it
about
on.
Let's talk about it. And I think too, for me, I'm not a music guy creatively, and I feel more close to God when for me, my worship is I'm hunched over my computer drawing and making something like that, and obviously for a lot of other people, it's standing in church and singing and all of that. And so, it's my worship. And you feel that too, that God, he makes the time for you to be able to work on that, or you feel a connection to God.
Yeah.
And I think with creative stuff, sometimes the doing of the creative, the drawing, the animation, all of that can sometimes be the tedious part. But the real joy comes from that finished product and showing someone that finished product. So I think firstly, you can support a creative by going, some of your stuff and, being
absolutely.
complimentative and all of that, just sort of play to our egos a bit.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can make it work. Well, Tim this week, actually it was a couple of weeks ago, I think, he posted something, and when you were talking before, Tim, about, trying to meet the expectations of a kid in 2025.
Yeah.
Tim actually posted on social media something he did, was probably about 15 years ago at a guess. And I watched it, and first thing I obviously noticed was my daughter's voice. I'm like, wait, is that Gemma? And yes, it certainly was, but this little tiny 6-year-old or whatever she was at the time. And timeless. Like the stuff that you bring to life through animation, obviously a lot of that was scripture-based. And when you look at scripture, you go, that is timeless when you really get to the core of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But the way that Tim does it, he's a creative. He's just able to just bring to life through vision, through auditory, through just the storytelling. It is a gift.
That video, so it's an animation about Zacchaeus.
Yep.
And like I mentioned before, I was thinking, well, if you just start telling a story about a tax collector.
Yep.
And seeing people being hostile towards Zacchaeus, the tax collector. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Kids don't even know what a tax collector is.
Absolutely.
And so the story has to be told without the Christianese language. I mean, at least from my point of view and the way I like to do things. And so, to kind of go, okay, he's a bad dude, and here's why, and to show that. And I think in the video, there's sort of like, it's almost like video game style, as you see him sort of taking funds from people and them being sort of not happy about it. And then to kind of, and it's an interesting story, Zacchaeus, because he doesn't, Jesus goes to his house and who knows the conversations they have in his home. But his heart actually changes before that.
Absolutely.
His heart changes probably at the sight of Jesus, or the fact that Jesus just said, hey, you, and started talking to him.
Yeah.
And so, trying to bring those things out in the story and in a way that kids in Australia or the world today understand is important.
All right, we'll hold it there for a little bit, guys. We'll be back to you, before too long. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Rhema CC. I'm Lindy, your Sunday morning host here, obviously each Sunday. This morning I've been thankfully joined by Tim Andrews. And he has given us some pretty awesome insight. Tim's actually an animator, had lots of different experiences, both secular and Christian sort of involvement. He does his own stuff too. He's just one of those guys who has a brain that is always just, it's on the move, honestly. I don't know how he comes up with the things he does, but I will give you a little bit of a heads up. He is my brother-in-law, so I do hear about the projects that he's up to. And I sit there in total awe and think, man, if I could do anything like that, that would be amazing. But obviously that's not how I'm designed. Tim is. God has equipped him. He has given him the skills, the abilities, and the passion for obviously serving him this way. And we're going to sort of spend some time this morning acknowledging that, obviously him in particular, but just in general, creatives and just what they can bring. We want to affirm those in our churches who can bring to life the stories of the Bible, who can bring to life the truth of the Holy Spirit, that the Holy Spirit's with us in all things, and just really affirm, that whole creative sense. We look at God's creation itself. We look at how he puts together nature and how he informs the body. He is the creator. He's the ultimate creator, and yet he has made us in a way that is, it's an image of him. Well,
let me just add to that, because I think that it's easy to sit here and go, oh, I'm not creative. I wish I had that creative brain. But I think we're all creative, and it's part of what it is to be made in God's image. Whether that's being able to maintain a very nice lawn, I think that's creative.
Absolutely.
And something that I'd never be able to do. It's Bindi Central at my house. So,
cool. I won't come to your house for that either.
So I think it's important to go, we're all creative. It's just obviously creative in different ways.
Absolutely. So, I think that's a really important point to highlight, Tim, exactly. We've got our own little flares, and it's a matter of just being open to what God wants to, and how he wants to use us in that. But certainly I'm encouraged and thankful that you have obviously just embraced your own passions. But there's got to be challenges. Now, we sort of introduced a little bit of those sort of ideas of challenges and ways that we can support those who are creative. Any other suggestions that you can give us to how we get behind those who are embracing that part of themselves?
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned before, it's the biggest joy from creating something is getting to see other people enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And for me, I like to write and animate a lot of things that sort of have a comedy edge to it. So being able to see people laugh at it finally after it's finished without, is such a joy. And being able to see it with fresh eyes too when you've got a bunch of people watching, I think that's really important to get behind in that way. I think I just think about, maybe this is not so much the case in the music world today, but just if you think about a band, right? And they're performing, they've got a gig, they're performing, they've got loads of people, they're all getting into their music. They've got their little desk at the back with their CDs for sale. And they sell one copy. Because that's just how we, but everyone enjoyed the music, why aren't they? And that is just so common for a creative. In your mind, you think, this is amazing, everybody's going to love this. And then when it comes to them buying it or consuming it in some way, sometimes it's like, what? Why is nobody? So that's
it's showing up.
It's really important, and I've actually written down here, ways you can support a creative is have a look at the thing that they made. That sounds simple, or pay for it or share it. If it's something that needs to be paid for, just
absolutely
support them in that way, even if it's not your thing. Share it on social. Someone shares something on Facebook or whatever. They really. If you share it, means more people
that's right.
get to see it. So
exposure.
That's one thing. I think too is, and this is a huge topic for another day, but if you need something done professionally, don't use AI. AI is great if you want to make a funny little profile picture that you weren't going to pay for anyway. But pay an artist, pay a photographer to do it because it will look better. And creatives, we can see the blemishes in any AI image I've ever seen. We can spot it. And unfortunately, if you're using that in a professional context, sometimes it can look a bit unprofessional. And you will not regret. You will get your money's worth. If you pay a creative to do that, to take the nice photos or the
absolutely.
So I think that's important. Again, topic for another day.
But no, you're right. It is that. It's the authenticity and the genuineness of humanity. It's like people. There's just something that, technology certainly has its place. It's a great thing for us to be able to fall back on. But there is stuff that we can miss along the way because we've just relied on that. So and they're great tools, and
we've really. AI is a very broad term. We've been using it for a long time. When you're in Photoshop and you colour something in an auto paint bucket fill, that is AI really, isn't it? Because
absolutely.
It's making a tedious task easier. So getting that balance right with that is still something we're all wrestling with. We have released an app called Xenos Kids. And if you haven't come across it already, I'm happy to tell you all about it. This is a platform for Christian, I hate the word, but I'll use it, content. It's video, podcasts, music. There are books in this app. I don't know of... So it's not Netflix for Christians.
No.
Those sorts of things already exist. You can go and sign up for something and get old episodes of VeggieTales and all of that sort of stuff on there. This is more of a resource for Christian families.
Absolutely.
It has devotionals and things like that on there. You can leave it with your kids to play with. And there's plenty on there.
Don't have to worry about it.
But you can also beam it up to your TV and do devotionals together, or you can play it in the car.
Haven't done that yet. I didn't know you could do that part. My kids have actually downloaded, well, I know especially one of them, I think both of them have, but one of them smashed his tablet and I haven't chased it up since. So I don't know where we're up to with that stuff. But my youngest actually, Ari, you guys have heard him here before, but I overheard him one morning, or he was on the bed with Zeph, I think, and I just heard, I am never getting rid of this app. I love it so much. And I'm like, okay, tick of approval right there. So
that's great.
It was very cool to kind of go, and it is. It's safe for families. And it's got all sorts of things. So.
I think too, like years ago, I made some little animated things that were sort of Christian, sort of about parables or whatever, and there's just really not. At the time, it was like, okay, so we put it on DVD. That's time's gone. But put it on DVD and sell it in the Christian bookshops. Nobody ever
sees again. Yeah, that's
and
right.
is that the only platform?
Well, that's right. Absolutely.
So this is, we've created a lot of our own content.
Yep.
A lot of stuff's been licensed, all Australian stuff at this point.
Yep.
And it's, where was I going with that? I guess, there are a whole heap of ways you can be involved.
Yep.
If you're a creative and you've made something of a professional standard, then just get in touch.
Cool.
Xenos Media.
Xenos Media. So you've heard that, guys. If you are someone who is creative, come up with some stuff, think it's worthy, let's head it that way.
Yep.
Xenos
You might have
Media.
created something already.
Yep.
Or you might have some ideas. It can't hurt to just get in touch.
Yep.
Buy the app.
Yep. Yeah,
that's the way to support. It's free.
Yeah.
And there's you can get a taste test of pretty much everything that's on there for free.
Yep.
But there's a subscription to it, and it's very affordable.
Yep.
Have a look at that. Pray.
Yep.
So you might be one of those people going, I don't know how to be creative. I've got no.
Yeah.
Please, just pray.
Prayers.
Because we just want people to find this app.
Absolutely.
It's doing pretty well considering we've put very little marketing behind it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And there's some passionate people involved who have done their part to kind of share it around.
Yep.
Every day there are people using it, which is cool to see all the statistics in the back end.
Yep.
People are using it.
Good.
That's kind of how you can become involved in that.
Yeah,
but just have a look at it. It's called Xenos Kids.
Awesome.
And
Xenos Kids is the actual app.
That is the app. Yep. Xenos, Zenos.
Yep.
And check it out.
Yeah, highly recommend it, guys. I know you haven't seen be my brother-in-law, but as a mum, I'm like, big tick of approval from us.
There's no ads in it.
Yeah, well, there's that too. There's
ads.
Also the just the reality of it's good quality content for kids to be viewing, to singing along with. I have never heard my kids singing as much as what I have when they're
That's great.
I'm just like, anyway. Guys, we'll leave it there. We're going to talk some more creative stuff and when we come back. And welcome back, Coasties. You are joining us yet again on a Sunday morning. You've joined us here at Rhema CC. I'm Lindy Jones, your Sunday morning host. We've been talking to somebody pretty special, Tim Andrews. He is an animator and he happens to be my brother-in-law. I've said that also a few times, We've been talking about a few different avenues of kind of being a creative.
A lot of the work I do is solo, but a lot is in a team.
Yep.
And personally, I love working in a team.
Yep.
In animation, when let's use the word COVID, we don't like talking about it, but when that was happening, the animation world continued. In fact, it probably thrived.
Yeah.
Because everyone went, okay,
what
grab
do we do?
Your computer and take it home. We'll do all the Zoom stuff. We'll chat over. And I think a lot of people love working from home.
Yeah, okay.
In animation because, you're kind of a little more flexible with your hours and all that sort of thing. And I think too, it's not natural to sit at a computer all day. So I think when people are kind of told 9 to 5, you're animating, it can be really tricky for a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
Working in a team I really enjoy it, and I actually love having the people there in the studio with you. I think overall it is more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you're not sending a message to someone, waiting for them to get back to you, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
you can literally lean over someone's shoulder and have a chat about something, and making sure that the work is. I was leading on an animated project during COVID.
Yeah.
And we suddenly, had to. It was the second lockdown that we had, and everyone. With very short notice, it was like we're working there on Friday, and then Monday, we're working from home. And I saw some people thrive, and I saw some people struggle.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that the work suffered from it. But I think personally, I find that I work harder and better if I know everyone's working for the same cause. Yeah. I'm sure there's something spiritual in that. I think.
Absolutely.
I think, that's huge for me. Otherwise, I just feel.
Yeah.
A little lost, a bit of limbo, and so I love when we're all working on the same thing.
And do you find this is obviously your experiences? Did you find that element or observation of the team, if we call that, different based on the workplaces, whether that was a secular or Christian sort of space?
Yeah. Well, I think the interesting thing is, so I've worked on a lot of secular animated shows and stuff that reasonably well known. So things like Ninja Turtles and Gabby's Dollhouse, and a lot of American work gets sent to Australia because there's a lot of talent here, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But often those projects have, like, I'm working on a show for Fox at the moment, and they mentioned the other day that there are currently 188 people working on this show.
Ooh.
So I guess, I mean, that's great. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think you obviously don't know all of those people.
Yeah.
You're all just doing your own part of this big factory making these cartoons.
Yeah, sure.
Which is fine. That's pretty cool. But I really love working in a small team of 5 or 6 people, and knowing everybody and knowing what they're good at. And we worked on a show for the Adventist Church called The Tuies, and that is also on the Xenos Kids app, which we mentioned before. And that was such a thrill because I got to lead the team, but I was working with animators who I'd kind of handpicked because I'd worked with them before and I knew what they were good at, and I was able to kind of
draw on their skills.
You're really good at this type of animation.
Yeah.
Can I just give you all those scenes?
Yeah,
Have fun.
And
this person's really good at like doing the lip sync or whatever, so there's a pretty heavy dialogue scene here. I'll let them take that. Oh, this one's got some pretty wild action, and I know this person can handle that really well. And it's just it's efficient. Everyone's enjoying the work more.
Absolutely.
I love that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's less of a factory and more of a community. And
can I ask you then, in terms of your faith, do you see elements of how the church is supposed to be when you look at the team?
Yeah. There was a project I worked on the Central Coast, actually. Which a lot of people, I had to do a very big commute because I'm not from around here. And a lot of these people, we all came to work on this show. We all started on day one together and none of us knew each other. And a lot of people had moved from like Queensland to the Central Coast for this one show. It was sort of roughly a year-long project. And so everyone's like, well, what are you doing after work? And it became this really cool community. And this was a secular job. There are a few Christians in the mix, but it was interesting to kind of see, oh wow, this is almost,
we can just come together.
This is almost my church, but without the
that's right.
Without the Christian element. It was like-minded people. I could wear my dorky Simpsons t-shirt or my weird hat, and people were like, oh, that's cool.
That's right.
Whereas my wife's like, please don't wear that today.
I don't want to see it.
So it was like-minded people, like all these kids, all these people who were the kid in their class that was the drawing kid. I was like, oh, you were that as well. And that is a real joy, like that, and I love that. And it was the right size team at the time.
Very cool.
And I'd love to see that in our churches. I mean, we do see that in our churches. We're all like-minded in our faith, but all vastly different in every other way.
And another thing that stood out to me when you were just talking a moment ago is that whole hand-foot thing. You can be different parts of the body and still be, doing your part for the whole body to work together. That's how the church is obviously.
Well, in the animation studio, we're just a whole bunch of earlobes hanging out.
There you go.
Talking about what it's like to be an earlobe.
There you go.
But I think that has its place too.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. One thing we talk about quite often on Sunday morning is that sense of community, finding your people and really affirming each other and going, cool. And even if there is someone that you kind of think, no, you're totally different to me, finding how you can make it work. I guess that's the whole aspect of, when you're doing life as a team, is going, how do we do it together, with our similarities, with our differences, but there is an element of somebody gets me when you've got the same interests, same passions. And certainly I think when you look at the church, we've got a lot of different people, but we've got a lot of different abilities and skills and giftings as well that, I think there is something to it when you find your people and you're like, oh, like you said, you're the person,
your people, that's it.
You did the drawing too, that sort of thing. So, that is an encouragement to us guys to be ourselves to the point where we find those who might be feeling a little bit like, I don't quite fit anywhere. I'm not quite, and I think that's probably a reality for all of us at different times. We have these moments where we just kind of feel like, oh, I don't know where my people are. Be as, if we can be as authentic as we can as our own self, if we get to know who God designed us to be, we are more likely to be drawn to and be aware of those who are around us who share the same interests, same passions, same whatever. And there is just a sense of community in that. to empower people to become more and more of who God wants them to be. Sometimes we need to have those people around us that are like-minded, that really get our story and our passions. If you then wanted to give some advice to somebody who has similar sort of passions, maybe you've got a younger person in your churches or wherever, that you can see has a real creative flair, what sort of things would you encourage them themselves to do to be brave enough to get out there? Yeah. But also for us to, how do we encourage them?
Yeah. I think it's really important for creative people just to make something. Yeah. Just make the thing. Yeah. Obviously you need time to do that. And for me, that time was, during high school and after high school, I had that time to make things, and that kind of set. My parents were very gracious and never pushed me to go and study, and they kind of knew that I was into certain things and that I'd kind of find my place. Yeah. It's really hard to get into, any job really. Like you go, oh, we want to see that you've got the experience. It's like, well, I can't get the experience unless you give me the job. You just make something and send it and get real feedback on it, because you'll learn amazing things. And definitely just make something.
Just get out there.
Just do it. Just do it. And if you can get a job on a TV show, and they are around, you've got to kind of know the right places to look. There are entry-level jobs. It might not be, it might feel a bit dot to dot, a bit like you're part of a machine. Yep. But it's to have a credit, to be able to go, oh, I worked on, whatever show.
Absolutely.
That helps you with the next gig. Yeah.
We'll hold it there, guys. Obviously, there's a lot that we have no idea about when it comes to the creatives in our world and what they deal with. A lot of pressures, a lot of things that can be, I guess it's the same with any kind of work. We never quite know what other people are doing behind the scenes. But it's just the awareness, especially for, those who are trying to deliver messages to the outer world through creative means. They need our support, and they need us to just be aware of how hard it can be, just kind of getting those opportunities, and certainly being mindful of even that. I think the confidence thing too, better get a project or something out there. It takes a lot. All right, we'll hold it there for a little bit. I'll see you in just a little while. And welcome back to you guys. If you happen to be someone who is just joining us, you have joined us here on Rhema CC. And, if you're someone who regularly listens to us, welcome back again. Hopefully you have been having a beautiful morning listening to sort of our exploration of a creative mind, in particular, the mind of Tim. Tim is an animator, and he has worked on some pretty amazing stuff, actually. But Tim, I just want to ask you, because obviously animation is your first, it's your first love. What other sort of things have you done in terms of the creative sort of space? Yeah. Okay. So I think animation's number one. Yep. I do a lot of voiceover work, usually for my own animation. Yep. And I really enjoy that, and I'm sort of confident in front of a microphone when I'm being a character. It's a little different when you're being interviewed. It's that's right. It always is.
I was sort of I hope I don't and ah too much.
No, you're fine. I do it every week. It's all good. So there you go. Just did it then.
Yeah. I like to do voiceover work. Yep. And illustration kind of comes hand in hand with animation. It's animation without the movement, really. Sure. I like to write as far as like script writing.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. There you go. See? Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense.
I just I really like to write comedy, and it's really tricky because I don't know where you learn that. I think that I've learnt that. For a long time, I just thought everybody thought the same way. Yep. And when people kind of go, oh, that's a really cool drawing, you go, if you tried, you could do it too. That honestly, I thought that way for such a long time. Yeah, no, definitely not. Just learning that God has made us all so vastly different.
Absolutely.
And so, I like to write scripts, and particularly comedy script. Yep. And I do puppetry. Okay, so cool. A lot of puppetry through church, and I've done a lot of camps and carols events, and I have I use a puppet, Rhyme the Line. Yep. And I've been using him for many years.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually here.
Oh,
if
cool.
you'd like to talk
I'd love
him.
that.
He is full of nonsense, so I'd just give you a heads up. You've met him before. So
I have met him
you
a
know how
few
to handle him.
times. Absolutely.
I'll just see if I can grab him.
That'd be great.
And you can ask him some questions. Ryan? Yep, she wants to talk to you.
Okay. All right. Yes. Hello.
Here he is.
Hello to your radio listeners. My name is Ryan the Lion.
Welcome, Ryan.
It's a capital R on the Ryan, just
Right,
in
right,
case
okay.
anybody
Capital?
wanted to write it down.
Yeah, sure. What brings you here, Ryan? It's great to have you.
I was just hanging out with Tim today, and he said to wait in the car while I do the interview, and
Okay.
there was not much oxygen in there. So
No,
I
fair
came
enough.
out, and he saw me and said, "You want to talk to Lindy on the show?" And so I thought, yeah, that sounds like a very good idea.
I love it.
What do you want to talk about? What are you talking about today?
Well, obviously, you go to all the shows with Tim when you're doing things. So what sort of things what's it life like for you?
Life, well, it is great when I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
When I'm not doing the show, I live inside of a bag. So it's not
Right.
as fun, but I'm very good at hibernating.
Right,
because
very good.
we just love to sleep.
Oh, well, when you're awake, it's great too.
It is, yes. I do like to be awake.
Yeah.
And, I have been to lots of, go to churches and do a funny show for them. And we learn about Jesus. And we do have such a good time.
Yeah, sure.
I've been on to camps.
Yep.
And those are so much fun because, the children, they might not have met me before.
Yeah.
And then I come up onto the stage and they go, this lion is ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's crazy,
fair enough.
right?
Yeah.
And then I get to do it the next night and the next night because
Wow,
they're staying
that's
there.
amazing.
And the kids is going crazy for to have a good time.
So is it really nice for you to be able to talk to, the kids about Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, because, sometimes it is a church and the children, they already kind of know about Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
And then sometimes you get to go to a school. And the kids do sometimes not know much about, or they might not have ever heard about Jesus before.
Yeah, okay.
And so that is very exciting.
Yeah, I bet they love it.
Yeah, and sometimes on a camp or maybe like a carols event.
Yeah, yep.
And I get to pop up and they go, oh, there's a...
Ooh, it's a lion.
Yeah, but they always think I'm a polar bear because I have very white fur.
That
and
is
it's
true,
around
actually.
Christmas, they think I might be like the Coca-Cola polar bear or something like that.
Yeah.
That can be a problem for me. But
Well, you're very much a lion, and we're glad that you're doing your thing, Ryan the Lion.
Oh, Lindy, Tim, did he tell you about the Xenos Kids app?
He did a little bit. What do you think of it?
Well, not to sound like a salesperson right now, but it is very good. And I actually have got 2 episodes on there, like a podcast.
Wow, there you go. That's something to check out.
Yeah, I actually recorded them a very long time ago. And we just did not have anywhere to put them or for anybody to listen.
Yeah,
but now they're on there. It sounds like me when I was maybe a little bit younger.
Right, okay.
It's still the same,
But it's still the same.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It sounds amazing.
Yes.
I'll have to get my kids to check it out because I don't know that I've actually seen Ryan. I don't know if I've seen it on
I've
there.
got a podcast on there.
I'll have to go and check it out properly.
Yes, I want to make more episodes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Very cool.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. I'm so glad.
Do you need Tim back or is he?
Yeah,
he's
mine
done
actually. I'll just say goodbye to him. But thanks for coming and dropping in, Ryan.
That is totally fine. Okay, bye now.
Yeah.
Tim! Yeah, you cannot go. Where are you going? You cannot go home yet. Yeah, I think she wants to wrap it up or something.
Yeah, we need you, Tim.
All right, I'm back.
You're awesome. Honestly, this is the life that my sister lives with.
Poor thing.
It is awesome. He's such a clever guy, and he's honestly able to, you're pretty amazing when it comes to creative stuff. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for just your insights and how we nurture the creatives, because I think you'll give us proof of what God can do, and just being able to use those skills and just being able to use the gifts and. Yeah, it's.
Well, thanks for having me because I could chat about this all day.
Absolutely, I'm going to stop because I'll keep going.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, guys, Tim is an example of how God can just radiate through, the life we live, and it is my encouragement over, especially to the creatives out there. Keep putting yourself out there because I think his life is an affirmation of how much when you are with God and stepping, step by step with him, he wants to utilize what he's implanted in you. And that might be, it's going to look different from one person to the next, but we are his, and it is just so encouraging that he chooses to use us. So my last words for this week, I guess, are just be brave, like Tim has said. Put yourself out there. If you are someone who is creative, give it a go, and just watch how God does his thing. I'll see you guys next week. Looking forward to talking even more creatives, probably a different spin next week, but looking forward to it. And have a safe and blessed week. See you guys.